It was made clear at the Garter Day service earlier this week that the royals are still concerned about Prince Andrew's public image. As a Knight of the Garter, Andrew was expected to take part in the procession with other royal family members, but in a last-minute twist, the Duke only took part in private aspects of the service. ITV's royal editor Chris Shipp said a family decision was made by the royals to keep Andrew out of the spotlight during the event, so his fresh bid to regain some of his titles could fall on deaf ears. Which titles does Prince Andrew want back? The Duke of York was stripped of several royal patronages and military affiliations with the Queen's approval and agreement back in January, but Andrew is thought to seek a return to royal life and has petitioned the Queen to have several titles returned to him. Andrew lost his role as Colonel of the Grenadier Guards earlier this year but has asked the Queen to have this prestigious honour returned to him. H is also asked for his public HRH status to be reinstated, to have his position as the Queen's son recognised and respected. A source told The Telegraph, the colonelcy of the Grenadier Guards was his most coveted title and he wants it back. Having remained a Councillor of State, he also believes he should be included at royal and state events. Read more. Prince Andrew demands spotlight as William Birthright Row deepens. Read more. Princess Beatrice is seen stealing entrance at Royal Ascot. Most importantly for him is his status as an HRH and Prince of the Blood, and he feels that should be reinstated and his position recognised and respected. Whether or not the Queen, or Prince Charles, will allow Andrew to have his titles back remains to be seen. The Queen's support for her second son was evident when he guided her to her seat at Prince Philip's memorial service back in March. But while the Queen may have wished for Andrew to have taken part in Garter Day, the Duke of York's return has reportedly been blocked by the heir to the throne Prince Charles and Prince William out of respect for public opinion. A source told the Evening Standard, the Duke of Cambridge was adamant. If York insisted on taking part publicly, he would withdraw. What titles did Prince Andrew return to Queen? After it emerged Virginia Giuffre could pursue her civil case against Prince Andrew in the US, the decision was made for many of Andrew's titles to be returned to the Queen. Ms. Giuffre alleged she had been trafficked to Prince Andrew by the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein when she was under the age of 18. The Duke of York consistently denied the allegations and he and Ms. Giuffre later settled out of court, in a settlement that included no admission of guilt on Andrew's part. However, the closed case has not resulted in the Duke's honorary military titles being restored, and he no longer uses the style of His Royal Highness that he has used since birth as the Queen's second son. Don't miss, unremarkable Meghan Andrew Neil sparks fury sharing mean article, Insight, what right does she have? Fergie's support for Prince Andrew slammed. Analysis, Prince Andrew has only himself to blame, says Carol Malone. Comment, read more. Prince Andrew crushed over Garter Day ban. In addition to his role as Colonel of the Grenadier Guards, Andrew also returned the following honours to the Queen: Honorary Air Commodore of RAF Lossiemouth, Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Irish Regiment, Colonel-in-Chief of the Small Arms School Corps, Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Lancers, Queen Elizabeth's Own, Colonel-in-Chief of the Yorkshire Regiment, Commodore-in-Chief of the Fleet Air Arm, Royal Colonel of the Royal Highland Fusiliers, Royal Colonel of the Royal Regiment of Scotland. Overseas titles he has lost include Colonel-in-Chief of the Queen's York Rangers, Canada, Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Highland Fusiliers of Canada, Colonel-in-Chief of the Princess Louise Fusiliers, Canada, Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal New Zealand Army Logistic Regiment. In a further blow, councillors in York voted to remove his Freedom of the City of York honour in April. The newly created Duke of York had received the honour in 1987, a year after he married Sarah Ferguson. Rachel Maskell, Labour MP for York Central, said Prince Andrew was the first to ever have their freedom removed by the City of York. There have also been calls for Andrew to lose his title as Duke of York, but this would likely be subject to a lengthy parliamentary process.